Oh, are we live? All right. Well, we're back to episode 5. Welcome back to the Dispensary Live, episode 5. We were actually just playing and watching our intro here on the phone, so sorry about that. Yeah, it's been like a month, so welcome back. We're glad you guys joined us. I'm Will. This is Brandon.
I'm Nikki.
Miss Nikki down there. I've heard a lot of positive feedback on the Baked with Nikki, by the way.
Nikki was really baked.
Yeah, everybody. I think everybody was a little baked, so that was always very interesting. A little bit about our intro today. We are going to have. What's
I
this?
was going to say that the whole thing is there's a reason for this. We're asking customers questions later, so we're going to have to watch that to see if anybody actually wants to watch customers.
They're really not just watching movies, they say.
No, I told Nikki just before this that we were watching the like a movie.
Well, here's the thing, Brandon. Right before we went live, Brandon's like, "I'm really excited to give some stuff away." He's like, "We got some followers, we got some viewers." He's like, "I'm excited." Yeah, so comment and
Somebody said something. I swear to God, I'll actually get something.
yeah, he's just excited to give something away. So that's always cool.
But anyway, the episode.
Yeah, we're going to get back to the episode. Today, we're going to talk about staffing in the cannabis industry. With growth and expansion throughout multiple states, we deal with many different venues and approaches to staffing. And Nikki, who's in charge of all of and overseeing all staffing and human resources, and our human resource director, Tom, is going to be joining us on the show tonight. And after that, then we are going to get into terpenes and our production and why we use certain terpenes and how it impacts customers and users and how it impacts the industry. But going on from that, we want to talk. Remember, I'm always going to harp about it. Get your Facebook, get your Instagram, follow us on YouTube. Yeah, like, comment, share,
We
and
have a TikTok somewhere.
even check us out on Leafly. But right now, after that real rocky start, we're about to jump into an ad. And as soon as we're back from that ad, we're going to jump into staffing and cannabis.
Yeah, this is Courtney. Thank you, Courtney Paulson. Thanks for sponsoring us this episode. So thank you.
Yeah, Courtney. She's got a great voice.
With me, 'cause you're all I need. This in love, it's clear to see, but darling, stay with me. But darling, stay with me.
Okay, so welcome back. I was going to say that is actually Lance in the video, our one of our production guitarist. Thank you, Lance on the
He's
video.
not Courtney.
He's definitely not Courtney.
Good job, Lance. Shout out, Lance.
But welcome back. Thanks for joining us. We have Tom, our Director of Human Resources, with us. He gets to deal with all sorts of fun stuff. I actually tell him all the time when I do see him, fun human resources facts, and he always enjoys those.
I just call him our babysitter.
I
And
am.
he is our babysitter too.
He does. He yells at us too.
It's a tough position with this company because you have to like keep everybody in line to make sure that we don't get in trouble, but also make sure that like we can have fun and stuff. So
That's why we hired you, Tom.
Well, Tom, why don't you?
We dealt with other people like were here before on a long-term basis.
yeah,
So, Brandon and I obviously don't deal a lot with human resources, but we do deal with employees and we deal with the benefits. And yeah, you got to talk louder. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Brandon, you're the one that
This
gets
is-
complaints
this is-
about being loud and quiet all the
This is-
time.
This is live.
Brandon, you can't hear you even on the meetings this morning.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, so it's a cannabis space, though. And let's be real about this. Tom and Nikki deal with the front of all the human resource policies, direction. The entire company, our employees definitely know that we're working on different training programs because, especially as a customer, we want to, not only do we have the proper staff, but we want the proper staff to have the proper clients. And that's a relationship that gets built, and it starts before they're even hired with our company. So I think it's great, at the additions of employees that we have to the dispensary family. I'd like to hear what you guys go through on it.
And I would like to caveat that Tom does it all now because I have complete faith in him and I don't want to train. Well, at least that part of training. I like the store part still.
training's fun. Like I don't mind the training. I'd say that the selection process or anything after an employee is with us is very difficult.
I
But-
think just the application process and getting qualified applicants, and actually people to show up to interviews.
No, I mean, give people the benefit of the doubt, but that's some of the stuff that I'll talk through today is, if you do think that this is an industry that you wanted to get into and want to be a part of, I can give you a couple of tips for what can help out with that.
And we're using the Delta 8 market to hop into the cannabis industry early. So that is cool, something we can provide our staff. So,
Yeah, and while we are different in this industry, at least our niche of it versus the recreational or medical marijuana having to have a particular license to be an employee and to work in the shop, but we still would like to have that kind of thing. That's what we're going for, is to have that kind of knowledge and structure and stuff around.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that, and if you don't mind actually answer this question, because you have a little bit more experience than I do, is we run into this a lot, is the difference between our industry that we're in versus the actual like medical cannabis industry. And I think that it's important for us to really like put a clear defining factor between that they are two separate industries, and that people should know that before they think about getting into this industry.
Yeah, definitely. The qualification process for working for us, while we still have our own internal qualifications, we're not regulated by our state governing board over the cannabis. Whichever the state you're in, they have a different one. It's have a different procedure, but they have to go through a training program. They have to go through a federal background check. They have to be fingerprinted, and then you have to keep with the regular standards, and you have to be passing certain things, and there's different safety standards you have to adhere to and stuff. So and it's a lot more rigorous to work in the medical, because you have to do seed to sell. So everything that you touch that is medical or recreational cannabis has to be accounted for. There is no, oops, I dropped it. You got to have video showing it was dropped and it was picked back up and disposed of. It's a whole different set of responsibilities.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we are, I guess, more of like a retail side of the business. So we're not going to have all of the restrictions and regulations and all of the, minute details that have to go into the medical cannabis industry for us. So there is a vast difference for what we have to do with that. Now, that's not saying that we're, as a company, not setting ourselves up to be.
Yeah, we're trying to model that. So if we do ever get to go to that.
Yeah.
So quick question, like, I guess you guys are talking about the differences. As we know, we are in states that have medical and recreational now passed. As we jump into that and we look and say, okay, our potential people that we have now, we are trying to develop and make sure that no matter if we have a medical dispensary or recreational dispensary or stay in our niche, we want to keep those people that we currently have and continue to groom into those roles, correct?
I think that's part of what we look for when we're hiring a candidate, is to be able to transfer over to that industry if we do get into the recreational or medical cannabis. If it does happen here in Wisconsin versus the other two states that we are in that do have medical currently.
Yeah.
So
I know this hasn't come out yet, but Tom is putting together some things from the industry and bringing it over that we want to bring to these guys.
yeah, shout out to our staff in Pittsburgh for sharing stuff for us.
Yeah, for sure. Pittsburgh's small.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason.
No, it definitely helps with that. But I mean, you bring up a good point. Like, we want to make sure that we set a precedent for our company that, there's going to be changes, but we want to make sure that we have employees that are loyal to us, and we look for very specific things when we do hire. And I think that that's what really helps separate us from anybody in the competition, is what we look for in those candidates. So, I mean, the first thing, if you're looking to actually join our team.
Yeah. So what is an ideal candidate?
Yeah, an ideal candidate. I'd say number one for what we look for is, they, in a sense of, once you go through like the selection process, right, you're applying with us, or, we look at your resume and your background, is that you need to be passionate about the actual cannabis plant. And that's just not in a sense of like you're a user of it. It's that you really focus on like, and have a mindset that there's positives to this plant, and you are just fully on board with the sense that there is so much good that can be brought to the world by experiencing more and more of what this plant has to offer.
Yeah.
And explaining that to us helps for us to just know like more of just like where your heart is. We're hearing that in the interview. And even if you have like a self-proclaimed story, and that does come out. I mean, I was involved in an interview earlier this week. The candidate had some physical problems that were going on with her body. and converted to specifically Delta 8. And she stated that it has really like saved her life. It allows her to actually function in the world. And without it, she doesn't know where she would be today.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. And when you have that passion or you have that experience with it, it translates over to when you're selling it or talking to our other customers, and they can feel that passion. And that's a lot of what our business is education and being passionate about the plant.
Yep, absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
whole plant.
The whole plant, yes. Not
whole
just
plant,
not
nothing
single
but the
parts of it.
plant.
Yeah.
So help me plant.
That's it.
We're planted here.
I love share my office next to Tom. I love when we find somebody awesome that's passionate about the industry. So
We get stoked.
fun.
No, like we jump out of our seats. We're just like, just found it.
Oh, yeah, this is going so great. You're going to love them.
Yeah.
A lot of them happen to be customers.
Yep. That's
Unfortunately,
awesome.
Nikki has to be next to my office, or I'm next to hers, and I try.
And we
and
have
be-
a window that shares.
I try and be a rain cloud to rain in her office.
Him and his little unicorn stuffed animals. Well, not little, they're huge.
I do have big unicorn stuffed
do have a
animals
big
in my
one.
office. It's actually pretty badass.
He has the girl office. I have the boy office.
Maybe after one of the breaks, one of those unicorns might appear.
I'm back to HR.
Yeah. So the second thing that we look for, again, typically comes out in the interview is what type of energy that the candidate has. And it's really focused on just what type of like positive, uplifting, just really energetic energy that you have, because you're dealing, I mean, the way that we sell our products is in a storefront, customers face to face, right? And energy is contagious. And in order for our customers to come in and really truly believe that what they're getting is a good product, that there needs to be that positive energy there. So if you have somebody who's just kind of moping around behind the counter, just like, well, here's our smokables, it's not really going to work. So we want somebody who's really passionate and uplifting with that, because that will just be contagious and it'll make customers feel comfortable.
Interactive. You have to be interactive. Yeah. You have to know your customer. You have to be able to explain it from one area, from the scientific part to the fun part.
Yep.
And a big part of being able to have that communication with the energy, though, we focus and have talked about it in every episode. It's about education. We want to be able to educate our customers, even if they're just coming in to learn about the industry. It has to be important that the clients, not only that we have behind the counter, can help the clients that we have on the other side of the counter.
Yes.
So I think that's super important.
Yes, absolutely. Just got the unicorn.
It's Will's pets.
I'm going to sit the rest of the show with this guy.
There you go.
It's a guy now.
Will's
Yeah,
unicorns.
this is my little unicorn.
It was my little pony, but he put a stick on it.
Yeah. So next for what we look for in candidates is just their reliability, and that they have a hard working ethic, right? So and this can come out through ways that we ask questions and how people just respond to the questions that we ask in the interviews. But we're looking for people that are reliable. You're going to show up for your scheduled shifts, that your integrity is there to do the right thing. Is a unicorn show for its scheduled shifts? Is that what you're saying? Yes. I mean, the unicorn always shows up. The unicorn does always
sometimes
show
does
up.
more work than the rest of us.
Yeah. But then you're also focusing on, like, because you have the passion and you have that positive energy, that you're focusing on, like, the company, you want it to be the best thing out there for the customer. So you're taking the initiative to do the cleaning. You're taking the initiative to make sure that the product is displayed correctly, that you're learning more about the product and how you can talk to customers more about it. And just trying to perfect everything that's out there to represent the brand. And that's just coming through in that hard work that we're looking for out of people that are joining our teams.
So what do we offer whenever they do come in, as far as educating them on the plant and their training?
Yeah, so I will say that this seems to be pretty unique about our company, is these random check-ins that happen at the stores. And Nikki, Brandon will randomly ask questions, or they'll go and snoop around and look to see how clean the floor is or how clean the display cabinets are, and there's a cash reward that's
Let's
involved
be
with
honest. Will's the one looking to see how clean things are.
that. That is true. His white
I
glove
want to make sure the money's all
inspections.
going the right direction and it's accounted for.
But yeah, I mean, as an employee with our company, the more that you know, And the more initiative that you take to be a perfectionist is the more chances that you have of being paid cash rewards for it, which I think is pretty cool.
And a lot of it is if you are looking to do this and you want to be, well, work for us in particular, you don't have to know everything about the plant. You just have to be passionate about it mainly and
Yes.
have that go at an attitude, and we will help you learn the rest of it.
Absolutely. Very good point. Very good point with that. Let's say one of the other things that we look for, and this isn't like a necessity, but we do try to see what type of experience that you have with it, is suggestive or consultative selling experience, right? It's not just an aspect of customer comes into the store, they're telling, they're just like, well, I want that. And then you're doing an exchange, because we have a lot of customers that come in that really don't know everything about the cannabis plant or the products that we're selling. So you have to go through a consultative sales process of really understanding what is the customer looking for. And then based upon the input and info that you're getting from that customer of this is the suggested product that we recommend for what you're looking for, right? You have to really spend time to get to know the customer instead of trying to actually sell them. And I brought up a quote that I shared with the team the other day that I thought just basically explains this very, very clearly. Salespeople don't sell products. They show how products solve problems, and then people want to buy them.
Exactly.
And I think that is the consultative sales process.
Because let's
to a
be
team.
honest, cannabis can solve some problems.
It can.
Yeah.
It absolutely can.
So we actually have some of the, when we get to the Trevor section
Which is
in a little bit, we are going to be talking about some of the comments and questions that were presented. And some of those comments and questions were about how it helps them. And they're happy that, our industry is here and what we're doing. So I think those benefits, even the feel good stories that we hear a lot of our employees talk about, I think is really beneficial. When they, at the end of the day, have a really cool success story about who they helped, it makes everybody's day. It does. It brings morale to the entire team. And
I
we,
got a couple of these responses, but that happens, I think, a lot. But I think our staff
Yeah,
really know that.
Yeah.
Even when we had a counter more, it happened a lot. So
Yeah,
we
the
were-
repeat customers were great to come back in and tell us how things helped them, because especially the ones that were skeptics. Those are my favorite to come back in and tell us
Mhm.
their story of how it actually was
Those are good
benefited them.
stories. Those are good stories.
Yeah, and then we're going to touch on another aspect of education later today too, is the terpenes and how
Mhm.
they actually play a role.
That's
Yep.
actually next.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that'd be good. The last piece I want to put out there as far as our ideal candidate that we have to state, because this is for our company, as well as really what is going on in the entire industry, is a clean background, right? So that's not only just a solid work history from your previous jobs or your previous positions, but it's also on the criminal side, unfortunately. And that's just the nature of our business, because we're dealing with something that is in the end is either currently extremely regulated or going to be very regulated. And there just needs to be people that I guess in a sense just don't have criminalization that's tied to it in order for the company.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have experience with Denver.
yeah,
So
granted, I mean, the industry is different. Minor marijuana charges, possession charges, with explaining, we'll overlook that. Distribution charges, they are going to get you in trouble.
yeah,
So,
larceny.
Yeah.
you know,
Anything else outside of the
felonies,
marijuana industry, your crack cocaine or your heroin, we're out.
Yeah.
So
thefts, anything of that
Yeah,
nature.
theft is definitely a big one for me.
Yeah.
So because we're entrusting you with a lot of product and a lot of money.
Exactly. So that's the ideal candidate that we're looking for. And essentially like that background or that type of candidate with those skills and abilities match up with our approach that we essentially have with our customers and our core values as a company, right? Because we're here to help. We help our customers. So we want to focus then on our approach that we have with the customers and the type of work that you will be doing inside of, at least with our company in the cannabis industry, is the importance of educating the customer, right? So it first starts out with that it's typically, or I guess from what I've seen, is like it's a taboo conversation, right? Not everybody is really fully comfortable with discussing marijuana or cannabis or everything that's going on, because for years we've had the war on drugs and it's had this bad stigmatism that cannabis is bad.
Yeah, I remember when we first started the first dispensary and we'd come in and we'd ask, so have you have any experience? People look at me like, are you trying to get me in trouble or something? I'm like, no, I just want to gauge where you're at with using product here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
That happens now. That did happen a lot. Like, no, just asking.
Now people don't even freak out when they see squad cars sitting in the park lot. They still come in. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
no.
So-
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. Oh, a bunch.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot.
Yeah, it's quite frequent. Yeah, we have, and it's not for bad reasons. I mean, sometimes the cops are coming in to ask for certain information.
Maybe
Yeah.
they just want to buy too. Ooh.
Yeah, I doubt it.
They come after hours.
Yeah. But again, with those skills and abilities, it creates a comfortable conversation, right? The positive energy, that high uplifting energy, and just that ability to just be passionate about the cannabis plant creates a scenario where the customer is comfortable, right? Because we have to explain to them how everybody's endocannabinoid system is completely different, which it can be a very boring topic to some people, but it's very important that we explain that to people, right? And that's the reason why we have the slogan of
Weed responsibly. Yeah.
yeah, where it's start low and go slow, because everybody's system really is different. We have to make sure that they fully understand that.
So, Tom, before you had mentioned criminal background, someone has a possession charge. Should they still apply?
Possession of marijuana.
Correct.
So if they have a possession of marijuana, right? My suggestion to that candidate is that during the interview process that you bring it up, right? And I would say that to almost everybody, is that the more transparent that you are in the interview process or the application process, that if there's something that's going to pop up on your background check, is more of just like that integrity, right? The more that you're just willing to just, hey, I'm putting myself out there and being vulnerable for this. I know that it may hurt, but it gives us a different look at that candidate then, right? Possession of marijuana is a little bit different than possession with the intent to sell, or even with a possession of a drug that's not intended for interstate commerce. You know, when we look at things like that, and then we call the candidate after, and we're just like, hey, just so you know, this popped up and it doesn't pass our background check standards, they're kind of just like, oh, I should have told you that. And it's just like, if you would have told us that, we probably would have had different considerations.
The more transparent you are, you look better in our eyes too, because you become more trustworthy and somebody that we'd rather have on our team.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird. I was writing down the word transparent as you said it.
Yes, because I told you to.
Yes. So again, importance of educating the customer with our approach with everything, because you have how many different cannabinoids that you have to explain, and you're just really trying to make the customer feel comfortable, learn what they have, or learn what they're looking for, and then suggest what it is that they need for, whether it's pain, anxiety, relaxation, hunger, focus. You know, we can go on and on as far as what the focuses are for the different cannabinoids and what they can help with that.
We have a chart for that.
No, we have a chart here. But yeah, our staff are good at explaining that. So that's
Thanks to us and Tom for helping them learn.
Right.
sure.
So, Tom, I have some bullet points out of that.
Yeah.
Good communication, energy, passion, willing to learn,
Yep.
willing to adapt, be transparent about who you are and why you want to be with us to this industry.
Yep.
Right. That's sort of what you're putting together. Like that would be, if they were like when Brandon cuts this up and puts a clip, like what's his summary? Like, is there anything else that we should be looking at in some of our candidates? Because I think I've seen that in some of our people and they've succeeded.
Willing to
pretty well.
learn.
Well, like actually the gentleman, Trevor, who's going to be on here was hired not even a year and a half ago.
No, not even a year and a half ago. It was February of 2021.
And he was hired to be an assistant
A
manager.
year and a half ago. Yeah.
And now he is a regional manager. And I believe he carries all of those characteristics. And I mean,
He's our shining star.
He's a shining star.
I would say that everybody who has been hired in our company carries those characteristics, because that's the ideal candidates that we're looking
Because that was our goal.
for. Yeah, that's our goal.
And Thomas did a good job.
No, it's a good goal, but like using that and the people who have adapted to that and followed through on that, there is a success path, especially at our growth rate within the company.
Mhm.
There's a lot of room for movement.
Mhm.
And continuing through those hard times are some of those traits that are needed.
Mhm.
And it's not necessarily just a job. I don't feel anybody can come in with the idea that this is just going to be a job.
Or a circus.
I think like, and so this would be me in a very serious sense here, that you shouldn't. Okay, so HR Tom coming on right here, right, and philosophical Tom, like you shouldn't be looking for just a job. I mean, you have the phrase of, if you're doing something that you love, you never work a day in your life, right?
Right.
So I mean, I know for me, like I love my job because one, I get to work in a company and with a product that I'm absolutely passionate about, but I'm also very passionate about the HR sense of creating a culture and a climate for a company where people can excel and bringing in the right candidates and being able to provide to them opportunities to grow for themselves, both professionally and personally. And I think that there's a definite like I can't even speak right now, but
Attribution?
attribution that we have for some people in this company that will speak to that.
Is
So
it attribute or attribution?
I don't know. I got a word out.
Attribute.
Attributes.
so I can wrap this up just as far as like if anybody's looking to get into this industry, right? What I would recommend for people that are just like, hey, I think that I want to try to jumpstart into this. One, do research on the cannabis industry, on the endocannabinoid system, on all the different cannabinoids, and just really understand those as well as you can. Because when you get into an interview with somebody who's working in the cannabis industry and you don't know what you're talking about, or if you do know what you're talking about, it just speaks more to what you can bring to the table for that. Second, I would say is that understand that businesses or companies that are part of the cannabis industry, whether it's medical or it's recreational, or even for us, where it's almost like the supplemental type of products that we sell, that they are a business. And just like people, we seek for relationships. So we're going to try to find people that have similar attributes to what we are as a company. We're a living, breathing thing, and we want people that have the same core values as us to match with us. So when you're going out as a candidate, do research on the company and look at what their values are.
Go visit the stores, see how
Yeah.
our current employees are handling it.
And see and just see how those values are and if they match yours. And if they match yours, then there's probably a chance that you're going to get hired at that company, right? But you have to do that work up front.
How would someone apply with us though, Tom?
They can stop in at a store. They can call the store. They can visit our website. Yeah. They can, reach out on social media. We'll direct them into the correct way for them to get in contact with either me or any one of our store managers, which do hiring for us.
Do we have any specific platforms that people should watch for or ever check on?
Most of the time, if we are posting any open positions, it'll be on Indeed. But the best thing that we could ask for as far as hiring is referrals. So we'd rather hire somebody that has a good reference that comes from somebody who's currently working for us, rather than try to tread the water with somebody new, is what I would say. And most companies will thrive that way.
Awesome. Yeah, check us out on Indeed. That's where we post
Facebook, Instagram, follow us.
all that stuff.
I like it. Make sure you hit the like button. Leave a comment if Brandon wants to give some stuff away.
Yes, I do.
And-
Thank you, Tom, for coming out here. And
Thank you for your time.
Courtney Paulson for sponsoring this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, Courtney Paulson.
Thank you,
Very
Courtney.
good job. And Tom, thank you for being
joining
here.
us
Just
tonight.
coming in. It was actually very nice
Really
to hear
nice.
that. Like you're engaged in it. You're passionate about it. I like it.
Tom is passionate about HR and cannabis.
Yes. Awesome.
It's fun stuff.
Courtney Paulson.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Won't you stay with me? 'Cause you're all I need. This in love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me. But darling, stay with me.
And welcome back to the Dispensary Live. We got a little swap out of people now.
Trevor and Tom traded places.
We did. A lot of
Good to be
fees.
here. Good to be here.
Welcome back, Trevor.
Yeah, welcome back.
He's been on the show before. Actually.
Yes, he was with
Not
the
too long ago.
regionals.
The regionals. Of course,
Yes.
Trevor Regional of the South of Wisconsin. Here to answer, talk some Terps with us first. Nikki, well, this is a big thing for you. You're excited to talk Terps right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
why wouldn't we be?
I'm excited to talk Terps because first of all, let's be real. People come in and they ask for indica and sativa all the time.
Or we're just jumping in.
Yeah, we're just going to
Jump
jump
right
right
into
into
this.
point, nitty gritty.
Yeah.
What
Because-
indica and sativa actually mean?
I mean, indica, a lot of times people are like, oh, that's indica, which, puts you down. And sativa, it's so uplifting and I can perform all day.
But what are they really? What are
They're
they?
just a
Curious-
terpene.
No, indica and sativa are actually just finding the plant.
Correct.
Indica plants are short and squatty, and sativa plants are tall and leafier.
Well, with genetic and
Yeah.
some of the hybrid plants now, there's so many variations. We've seen people cross pollinate. We know people that do some weird cross pollinating to
Oh, yes.
try and make up new strains. So there's a lot of hybrids. There's a lot of different talk.
I'd say most of them are hybrids, and then they go one leans indica or sativa. Like, if you look at most strains, I think that's mostly what they say. I see a lot of strains, but that's how they say mostly hybrid.
Right.
And then leaning one sort of way.
Yep.
But I think it's now just a common term that people are using.
Yeah,
That's
and
how I see it.
but it's like still comes back to the endocannabinoid system.
Yeah.
We all affect differently. Indicas actually don't make me tired. If you do a true one, yeah.
I've never done the whole thing. I should test it out, but then I'd have to know what I'm smoking. It's tough to do.
It's impossible.
Well, not with us,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
When my experience came in Colorado, I didn't smoke it, but they kept trying to tell me truly gummies or edibles can't be indica or sativa. They just try to label them that way. Because I didn't go, hey, we're going to extract only the indica plants today, and we're going to only make them this.
Yeah, I don't think that really. Maybe
That's
somewhere.
not cost effective or
So,
efficient.
terps are important to talk about because we have so many people who come in and question why or what terpenes are being used or what creates this and what is sativa or what is indica on your shelf. And we've had many customers come in sorry, I got a little distracted, butterfly, unicorns, things like that. But we've got many of these customers that'll come in and ask these questions, and it's important for us to be able to inform a customer down a path that potentially may help them with the effects that they're looking for, right? So now terpenes are huge because people are like, well, how do you get these terpenes? Well, we've got botanical terpenes and we've got cannabis-derived terpenes. Botanical terpene, best way to almost describe that is your fruit and or flavor type terpene, where your cannabis-derived terpene, sort of self-explanatory, but is cannabis-derived.
Are terpenes and other things besides just cannabis?
Yes. Terpenes are naturally found in many different fruits, foods. There's so many different beneficial terpenes, natural terpenes that are used for topical reasons, some that are used for smoking and or flavoring in foods. It's a big path, but we figured this would be a great time to break down and talk about some of the terpenes and the who, what, when, where, and why. So starting out, we're like, okay, what terpenes do we commonly use? We like true terpenes and we like Floraplex, good companies. Yeah, terp companies. They both offer third-party testing, which is very huge to us. But if we follow what do we use, we introduce terpenes for potential known effects is what it can potentially cause. But let's be real, a lot of these other companies that do mass production, and this is not a dig towards anybody, but this is about our product. We don't do a mass production, and when it comes down to, and we'll get into the why, but knowing that our potentially known effects, when we break this down back to a pure distillate, it's not indica and or sativa leaning. It's just a THC because we have removed all of the other terpenes in the distillation process to get us back to like a even zero. So it has effects of which can impact your body, but it's not indica and or sativa and or even a hybrid until we add stuff back into it. So then we're like, okay, we talked about true terpenes, we talked about Floraplex. Floraplex, Nikki and I, we vetted Floraplex pretty hard.
Yeah.
There's a couple other people trying to get in that still want to. But what was the biggest reasons? I guess Trevor or Brandon, you guys smoke, way more than Nikki because we are allergic to smoke.
I don't smoke.
But when you take a rip off of any of the cards, what do you expect out of it?
Effect, flavors.
Smooth.
Very open question. What you're putting it up to your mouth and it's OG Kush. What do you expect when you take that pull?
To be similar to the strain OG Kush
Yep.
that I would research.
Some
So,
earthy tones.
so a flavor profile of that, what it tastes like whenever you actually, then whatever it does to your endocannabinoid system.
Okay.
Also the same for like numbers and percentages that are on an actual strain.
Yeah.
Because they have different levels of percentage of terpenes in each different strain, and if we were to somehow be able to calculate that, that would actually
That's why we pay someone else to do that.
Yeah.
She does a really good job.
She does. Shout out to her. Oh,
Brandon is dead, and now we are going to snuggle and share a mic. No.
We'll
Well, I said stuff.
he said stuff. Brandon was giving a shout out to production.
Read, you can read his lips.
But anyways, so let's get into the when. 7 days a week, and this is a shout out to production in the fact that our production team runs 7 days a week. Our stores as well deserve that shout out because our clients, our customers, patients, however we want to reference them, 7 days a week love the availability of us.
Yeah.
And that is huge that our production runs. But when do we use these terpenes and when do we figure out what it can do? The people back in production that are using the effects of like, and we can get into the where we use terpenes and the frequency of this daily in not only our waxes, our dabs, diamonds and sauce, our carts, and even when we spray THC onto our flour. These terpenes are put in 7 days a week for products that are used 7 days a week by people that have expectations of certain results. But when we ask like, okay, so Brandon, you had this expectation of this OG Kush card. And Nikki, like when you don't have a smoke.
I'll take it in my mouth and taste it. It's about it.
Similar to my expectation of this Pink Panther here that we just are coming out with.
This is freshly trimmed.
We're gonna have a mic time. Hold up.
So,
Thank you.
sorry.
Christina.
Oh, look at
Let's
this.
get
Hop
into
in,
the,
so
let's
let's
get into the why
take-
so we can open up this forum for discussion. So we're talking about the who, what, when, where. Let's talk about why and what's important in terpenes. I guess I'd just come right down the road. Trevor, why do you think terpenes are important?
I'm sorry. I got a little caught up in my throat.
No, it's good.
Terpenes for me, when I'm in the store talking with any of the customers, just in general, about what they're looking for to get out of the product, it's a great way to guide them towards what they're looking for, just in a day-to-day basis. Yeah, that's probably the biggest one to me. Biggest one to me, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Let me help you.
Nikki.
Because I got in trouble being quiet too, which is weird.
Right.
For me, I don't smoke, but I will take it and taste the flavor of it, but I like to smell them. And you can usually tell what you like by the smell because your flavor palette is actually affected by your smell as well. So
All right, look at that.
Yeah.
All right,
That's good
Brandon.
science. What?
Why are terpenes important to you?
Well, the terpene profile is important to me. So the actual makeup of our carts should be as closely, like I was saying before, related to the actual strain of cannabis that it's trying to emulate. So that is what's important to me about terpenes, not so much like the actuals. I don't know. They all smell
you
pretty
want
good.
what they do to your endocannabinoid system to have an impact.
There you go. How about that? Exactly. But that is exactly the same as the actual strain that we're talking about. So it would be similar, and all those things matter when it comes down to that.
So I'm going to hot topic this, and I'm just going to hammer down on a couple things. Clean and tested product. We have third-party tested terps, and we only introduce terps into all of the things I listed: carts, waxes, dabs, diamond sauce. It's just
Disposables.
and disposables. It's just terp and just distillate for an entourage effect. Do you think that's good or bad, Brandon?
Just terp, just distillate. Is that good? Well, you need other cannabinoids for the entourage effect to be really like super powerful. So yeah, it is lacking in that regard because it is a distillate form. It is just that, and so it is lacking other cannabinoids in them. So
If you actually look at the Delta 10, though, the Delta 10 has more cannabinoids in it. It has the
Yep.
10, it has
And
the
it has
8,
the 8,
it has some CBD. Sometimes it has some CBN, depending on which plant we use to extract that from. So,
yeah, so yeah, that is true. And the Delta 10 distillate is also darker for that reason.
That is.
I think so.
So Trevor, though, like when it comes to clean and tested product, yes, no, just having
Yes.
distillate and oil, good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, I would build right off of what Brandon said. I also I like the purity and the simpleness to what goes into the product. But if we're gonna add anything in that sense, the purer the better. So third-party testing and just keeping outside on that line is good.
So a little quick product knowledge about us. We will never run over a 10% mixture of terpenes, and that's important. You can look at our viscosity and compare it to other manufacturers. Our stuff doesn't move. And the reason it doesn't move is because it's so pure. And the reason it's so pure is because we want you as customers, you as followers to enjoy something that's clean, safe, and still gets you to where you want to be. And the terpenes that we add back in is a delivery method for you to follow that indica and or sativa, that old school theory, because each terpene does have different profile. And if people want to check it out, they could research terpenes
Oh, yeah.
before they come into our store
Oh,
and
sure.
ask our bud tenders and say, hey, what has pinene in it? What has
Some
what?
myrcene.
Yeah.
I actually am very sure that a lot of staff are pretty solid on terpenes. Probably no more than me at this point.
We have-
The original
And
terpenes,
that's the new whatever thing
Well-
now, is that the terpenes are actually what infect your endocannabinoid system along with the cannabinoids. So how those all mix and mesh are different for each person
Crazy.
too.
see, look at
But
that.
something we have to be proud of. Our customers don't talk about the sore throats that they get from other type brands that are, who knows what goes into them, because they're not made artisan.
Mhm.
So something else for, I guess, our customers to watch or know. All of our carts, all of our dabs, diamonds and sauce,
Our
disposables.
gummies, even too. All of our
Gummies.
edibles are all
It's
handmade.
artisan. It is
Handmade.
all made by hand. We do not mass produce anything with machines. We actually have people in the back mixing batch numbers. And I mean, everything that we're running is for third-party testing and quality to make sure that it's handheld. Will there still be faults? Will we still have leaky carts or a dab that leaks out? Absolutely.
we're human.
Yeah, we're human. There will be human error. There's also faulty equipment. I mean, we get into that. But knowing that we've got clean terps, clean products so far, and worrying about customer safety is important to us. There's a reason we took a stance against acetates and we don't sell them, because we want our customers to be healthy. We want the people who use our products to be healthy, and even our employees. We want a safe product. We're not going to give something to our employees that just isn't safe.
We're not going to utilize something ourselves that
No.
isn't safe.
Nope.
So
Also, that's why we have to burn it at a lower temperature. We'll go into that. That's
And
on
that-
here.
That is on here. So getting into that, we talk about a terpene, a natural terpene, cannabis derived and or botanical terpene that will blend naturally with our oils. And why is that important? Because then we don't have to add any carriers. We don't have to add acetates. And unfortunately, there are carts out there, there are disposables out there that have carriers from MCT, 2 different acetates, vape juices, even for flavor, that these people are smoking, and it's unsafe. And as we always will talk about, that there has to be some forms of regulation. Is regulation going to help that? And do you think we have an advantage or a disadvantage because we have such a pure product? You have to burn it low, which we've had people who overheat, like with their 4.0, and they're like, it
Preheat
tastes a little
though.
burnt.
Got to preheat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got to preheat.
Yeah.
it's important.
So
Preheat.
is it good or bad? Like,
What's that? Quality?
Yeah, the quality.
Oh,
Do you think
very-
having it
oh,
so
good.
pure and having to run it so low is good for everybody?
That's why we do it though.
Yeah.
The quality is extremely important. That's what we do. So
Yeah. I mean, to me, I think it gives us that advantage. That's why we have customers that come back for these things.
Yep.
I mean, the diamonds and sauce, even with the CBN diamonds and the sauce, it's so pure. It's on point.
oh my God, they just killed
It's a
it.
tiny little spider. It's
So
going
they
to be
just,
okay.
okay. And just for
Sorry,
everybody,
distraction.
just for everybody that's
I got
on there,
it.
I
It's
have
all
to
good.
tell, I have to, this is going to go in the bloopers. Killed a huge spider over here.
It's tiny.
Is it like a huge?
It's a tiny spider.
Oh, nice.
All
Watch out around
So
here.
apparently-
right, back
there's
to
some big spiders.
terpenes and
But
away from
anyway.
That's
spiders.
what we're dealing with.
That's funny.
But all right, so
Purity.
the purity. No, outside of the purity, even what else do terpenes bring to our products? We could talk about flavor or effects, right? So people come in. So Brandon and I were just recently talking about this back in the production era. We feel it's important to balance not only the carts, the dabs, but the products that we have, to where we say, okay, these could have potential for uplifting effects. These could have potential for being like super relaxing effects. And then there's some that are just that hybrid factor. And we depend a lot. That misconception of indica, sativa, and or hybrid has all been opinion based. And if you go into our stories, you'll find this book called the Terpene Book. And this terpene book has a lot of reference. If you Google search certain terpenes, how it impacted certain people, but it's opinion based. So the only thing we can do, and what we're trying to clarify, and we will get this out to customers and followers very soon, is we'll have a list of what the terpene is that's in the cart or disposable or anything of that nature. And it will have what terpene is in it. And then we can say, this terpene has been known to, and that's it. Like that way, we're not using an opinion based. We're using what science says is this is what it should
Mixed
do.
with some opinion based, because I mean, a lot of it's subjective. I'm asking you, does this help your XYZ condition?
True.
So yeah, all those are just great benefits. Absolutely, that's what we're going
100%.
for, so that we can actually track this in the future and be able to actually put it to a similar terpene or something like that that's giving positive effects.
But we've all
on
worked the
top of
counter.
that.
We've all
So
worked. We've all worked that
that's
counter.
Yep.
We've
So
all had these questions.
Right. So is it flavor, effect, or quality of use? What's more important? Like, what should we focus on when we add that in? Is it the
All-
flavor?
we're doing all at once when we're trying to go for the quality and following the terpene and following cannabis profiles, terpene profiles. That's what we're doing. So like all of these should be the same. They should. We're going for all at once.
Okay. So
Equally
like,
This is the answer. So there's no individual question. There's no each individual answer.
To
It's all the
us.
same.
But some people may have a different
Right.
I know,
opinion on
but
that. Yeah,
but
yeah.
on us when we're
Us
following,
as, and the people that are making this, yeah, we have that all standards we hold themselves to.
oh yeah, they tried making
Yeah.
maple bacon something or
no.
another.
So like
Because we're
that,
doggies.
but so that would not work. And I was like, so
Maybe
immediately,
it would though. Why?
Im- no, yeah, I don't know how to explain bacon
I don't even
or
like maple
maple
bacon.
terpenes.
I
to
love bacon,
people.
but not
So
maple bacon.
when I write these things, I actually have to like research them. So when maple and bacon are, I can't find the terpene.
Trevor, would you
profiles of
smoke a
Because
maple bacon
Because
cart?
that's the difference
I would try
between
it.
botanical and
Why wouldn't I try it? I mean,
okay,
come
but
on.
now we're back to that's the difference between botanical derived
Uh-huh.
versus marijuana derived or plant derived.
And that's where I wanted to open this up. Like, okay, so we have like today a conversation, bubblegum OG.
That's a strain. So
That is a cannabis
you
derived
just
terpene.
follow the terpene profile of bubblegum OG,
But I could
and
make it with bubblegum flavor and OG Kush, right?
well, I would prefer the actual strain from Floraplex.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that, but saying, those are just
But so then getting
Yeah,
into
but
that,
that's
they
the
were like,
wrong way to look
I
at
know.
this. So
so they wanted to. Our production team was like, well, let's add grape to it because it had just a very weed taste to it. So
People
then
like that weed taste though.
they do. They love the weed taste.
and then there are some that are actually fruity as well. So
There's vanilla coffee.
there are some that are fruity. So like that's just going to naturally be that way. And there's going to be diesely ones and earthy ones, and some that are fruity. So that'll happen naturally as we keep continuing to do cannabis strains.
Trevor, what's the most important? Is it the flavor, the effect, how it hits, the smoothness? Because some of these terpenes, as we do know, some cause you to just cough the second you hit it versus some of the other ones that roll down nice and smooth.
Yeah, so it truly would be preference in general to me because I myself, I'm looking for a smooth hit off of whatever I'm going to be smoking. So I want smoothness. So if it's going to burn my throat or something, I'm probably going to dodge it. But I also am a big fan of flavor.
Big flavor guy.
Yeah, I'm big into the
guy.
flavor.
Big flavor guy.
Give me some banana ranch. That's my jam. I'm all about that. Strawberry cheesecake. You mentioned vanilla coffee. Those are my like go-tos. But I just find those to be smoother. So it's really just I see
Trev's
it
a flavor
split
guy.
so evenly across
Trev's a
customers
flavor
when I
guy.
talk to them about it. It's very evenly split, just in purity over flavor conversation.
And I think that's
A
why we tend to
purity-
carry a little bit of both
Yes,
too.
yep.
So, yeah.
That's why though, botanicals and cannabis derived terpenes. We want
Exactly.
both, but that we just want both. That's it. Straight
So
up.
it gets frustrating.
it's frustrating.
Yeah, for
It's
many people,
frustrating.
we always try and keep a balance because I mean we're servicing a lot of customers per day,
And we want to be able to be
and we want to be able
transparent.
to meet. So like in the comments, please throw down like what type of terpenes or like not even necessarily terpenes, but
Flavors,
flavors, terpenes. If there's
strains.
specific
Strains.
strains are huge.
strains.
Yeah, we need to know the type of feedback because as you know, fall's coming up, so we're going to be doing a change in.
Honey, but
Oh,
Please,
oh.
I'm not sure about pumpkin spice.
We're not doing
No.
pumpkin spice.
there's
There's no.
Ooh, a little sneak peek. Anybody caught that clip?
Yeah, I mean pumpkin spice. I don't know, but we are adding some THCP. We're knocking down the D8 strains to 24, and we're bumping up the THCP strains.
Because they are selling so fast and well.
Yeah, and we've had customers ask for different flavors and terpenes of THCP carts, so we're going to.
We're getting rid of
Respond.
our slowest sellers of D8. We're not getting rid of the top sellers, so don't get
No
too
worries.
concerned.
There's a lot of
Unless you're really into one of the slow sellers, then we'll let you know when the
Apologies.
sell is. And
Yeah,
Buy
there'll be a
it
big
up.
sale. There will be a big sale on those flavors.
flavor
Come out.
champs beware.
Yeah, Flavor Champs, so Flavor King and Queens, big shout outs.
Big shout outs.
yeah,
there's
and
plaques
that's
now,
also
so
a preview of it will be changing a little bit with the new
that's
thing.
true.
We'll add in some D10,
Yep.
some THCP to our
We-
Flavor King and Queen challenge.
Yes, we just totally discussed that. That's
A
going to
little
be
more
big this year.
variety.
It was all D8 up
Yeah.
to this point. Year 3.
Year 3,
Yeah.
we're learning some things.
Oh, wow.
But as we have gone through and experimented with many different terpenes, we have found out that Brandon wants that traditional marijuana type strain.
Of course.
Trevor's like, I want smooth and I want it to taste good. A little bit of vanilla coffee. Good way to start the day, right?
Yep.
And I love the scent. Like when someone has their Unipro set at like 2.4 and they just hit that cotton candy just right.
2-4.
Or even some of the strawberry cheesecake. Oh my
Strawberry
God.
cheesecake.
Or the grapefruit,
Oh, the grapefruit. Yeah, that smells delicious.
but I love grapefruit.
I
so.
salivate for grapefruit that. But then, we have to take some pride because we do get pinged. Some people are like, well, there's carts that are $20. Well,
That
why
is
are their
true.
carts $20?
Because they're mainly cheap terpenes and not good distillate. But that's my opinion.
It's-
Who else knows what's cut in there?
Yeah.
It's
They're
probably fluid. It's
People put
probably a little
MCT
bit more
like this.
viscous.
MCT.
Just go like this. And that's
And-
our recommendation.
If you do any type of research at all, even look at the percentage of terpenes that should be allowable, 15% will, like past 15% will get you sick. We will never get past 10% in ours. We want it pure. So
We
customers,
rarely get
clients,
to 10%, I think.
yeah, we do. We run short of 10% quite
Short
a
of
bit. Like
10%.
we want it just that hint of flavor or taste or profile effect of the terpene rather than dousing it down.
Yeah.
We want, and that's why our carts, we do get more hits off of our carts because it is oil. But we do have that mistake, which I hope Ashton breaks down one day. If you're cooking it at 4.2, why does it taste burnt? Why is it burning up so fast? Why is it
You're
leaking
burning
up?
it.
Yeah, it's like motor oil. If you overheat it, it loses its viscosity. I don't know. The viscosity is huge. For the people watching, if you take a cart and turn it and bubbles move really quick, I probably wouldn't smoke it.
Pass.
Yeah, from our science
It's
standpoint,
just a Trev pass. I don't
pass.
know why I'm talking in the mic.
and big
Trev
discolor, like big deep colors too. Sometimes
Yeah.
can be
Deep
really
colors look scary.
yeah. Deep colors look a little scary. You
It's-
will get oxidation. So for people who get into carts and they see oxygen can still flow through the cart after the distillate is put into it, and there will be discoloration in the distillate from the oxidation, basically the exposure to it. The only way you could prevent that, you'd have to package each cart in nitrogen to prevent that.
We're not
And-
doing that.
No, the incurred cost on that to the customer would be terrible.
Well, then the other thing is some of your terpenes or flavor cannabinoids or the botanical ones do have like juicy peach mango. We
Yeah.
learned because of the mango being
Mm.
so dark, it has a slight orange flavor to it.
Mhm.
But this cart still doesn't get that dark. It's just slightly darker than our others. So yeah.
And something fun for our viewers to research, every terpene has a different boiling point. And those boiling points play a big impact, not only in absorption rate, but when you preheat to when you just smoke it directly, because the different temperatures on it cause that terpene to break down at different temperatures. So look at terpene boiling points, and it'll tell you if you're at 4.2, why those terpenes break down and taste like burnt rubber or just absolutely terrible garbage that you're smoking. And people are like, why does this taste like plastic? Well, again, it goes back to that burning. But even with dabs or any of the diamonds in sauce, it's imperative to make sure that those terpenes are clean. And we do have to give that shout out to Floraplex. We should hit them up for a sponsorship. on
Yeah,
that one.
we will. We're gonna give it a
Shout out to
shot.
our
We're gonna give it a
production crew
shot.
for making them.
Shout out to production.
but-
So that'd be
I do have a question. Do you think the cart makes a difference that you're utilizing as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of carts out there that are not full stainless steel and lead free. I will give a big shout out to AVD. AVD has a really nice cart. It's lead free.
Yeah, we use a glass one too. We don't use a plastic or resin cart.
Yeah.
So
We do have a couple Vortec. If you buy our carts,
I
yeah.
don't know if we have
The
any much more
vortex.
left.
The vortex.
We haven't had those
Haven't
in a
seen
long
them.
time.
Yeah, haven't
Vortex.
seen
freaks a lot of people out, but there's a Vortex. Apparently, it gives you a cleaner pull.
And then we get a lot of complaints. It clogged more, so
Yeah,
we don't
they-
buy them anymore.
Yeah, there's no more
They
Vortex, but if you
Felt
see,
weird when you hit them. Felt weird.
and Brandon actually on our carts, and well, our dabs come with little stickers, but Brandon is
Just yeah. We'll just let it come out. We'll let it roll.
It's a
out.
secret.
Secret.
It's a secret. Yeah,
now.
Brandon's
There's
got a
some-
secret.
There's some things going on. So
No,
That's it.
but questions
We're
on terpenes. We
that's
got that
just-
for questions on terpenes.
We probably
I
need
think
to
we
move on
about
pretty soon.
I think we covered about all of them. So I think we'll just move on. We got some questions from some customers that sent us questions. So we're gonna go on to that next section. Again, thanks for Courtney Paulson, give us a
Courtney
sponsor. So we'll give her
Won't you
another.
stay
Great voice. Great voice.
with
voice.
me? 'Cause you're all I need. This in love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me. But darling, stay with me.
Here.
And welcome back to the Dispensary Live. We're going to try and pull this section out with bloopers, mishaps, fumbles, or lost mics.
Yes,
guys
we're gonna
think?
try this
We can
section.
do it.
We're gonna try
I
this
think we can get
section.
through it.
I am gonna act still like it works though. Okay, so I sent out an email blast. In this section, we're just responding to customer feedback, customer questions, ideas, suggestions. Had William here pick out his favorite. We actually had to battle for a couple, but we're gonna read these off to the people. First names only, obviously. We're gonna keep it real secretive. Let's start with William. And yeah, he's got some lengthy ones. We'll take the lengthy ones. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a little different one.
Okay. All right.
We're going to start it with our customers down in Virginia.
Ooh. Okay.
And they got a big question. Was the political debate settled over dispensaries here in VA? Are you allowed to keep your medical health care store open without the risk of political interference yet?
Who's the question from?
The question is from Miss Sarah.
Sarah.
And
So,
Miss
Sarah.
Sarah, to answer your question, there's still a lot going on. Right now, Governor Youngston is in a position where he is working with DATCAP, Department of Trade Consumer Protection, and working with the Agriculture Department in the state of Virginia. He's trying to push that any products with THC in an edible form basically shouldn't be allowed to be sold in Virginia. Now, it's very confusing because of the political interference of what your question is. Yes, there is still a lot of political interference, and that political interference comes from the beliefs that THC, even though medical has been passed, and there are dispensaries already in the state, that they should change the shapes and the edible format. And that is coming from not only people who are in the same industry as us, Sarah, because there are people out there branding stuff that looks like Cheetos or gummy bears and licorice, and they're labeling it, and it looks like it's directed towards not only trademark infringement, but it's also sort of geared towards children. And it's made a lot of people very uncomfortable with the industry. And that is causing political interference. So is it just political interference, Sarah? No, it's the industry as well. Without the lack of proper regulation, it's hurting itself and shooting itself in the foot by doing things that are tiptoeing the line of almost too offensive or legal infringement against these big companies, and they shouldn't do it. So is it just political interference, Sarah? No. Is there a lot of political interference? Yes, because this is a new growing industry and it's still developing its ways. We are excited to see what happens. Senate Bill 591 in the state of Virginia was tossed out after it made it to the House. And there are many people who still want their hands in the cookie jar, or they are trying to get rid of it completely because they still call it the devil's lettuce. So, Sarah, to answer that question, we are moving forward. Things are going well for the industry, but in any brand new industry, we expect it to be very political and take a lot of time. And for the much longer winded answer, we're going to be bust out into politics one of these days, and we'll have a lot more breakdowns with some presentations on what's happening there. So on to you, Trevor.
Oh, wow.
I'll jump in. We got a question from
Politics.
Miss Narita asking if we have vape pen flavors and how much. And in that sense, I would follow up with, we have an assortment of carts in general with Delta 8, Delta 10 THCP, all kind of ranging in different, as we were talking with the terpenes before, a bunch of different fruity flavors to more cannabis derived flavors. So we got an assortment in that sense. Pricing always a little bit different across the board. You got D8s for $33, you got D10s for $40, and you got the THCP carts for $45. And if you want it, it's just some honest feedback on it.
Yeah.
Check out that purple Wookie.
Check out that purple
Purple Wookie is
Check out that
solid
purple
on the board for the
Wookie.
THCP. Take it down.
Trevor recommendation. That's the second one tonight.
Yeah, got it.
He does love the purple Wookie.
He does.
So good.
All right, Brandon, what do you got? What do you got?
Oh, next one. What do we got here? Chris. All right, Chris. Will there be any? I'm actually excited for this question
Okay.
because we're announcing stuff. Will there be any additional edibles added to the store inventories at all locations? THCP gummies soon. Dropping that right now.
It's another-
Are
you guys-
that is
are you
exciting.
kidding?
Working on the recipe.
Nikki's actually
Yeah.
working on the recipe.
Nikki's the formulatory genius behind our gummies.
So if
that
you
it
have
won't knock you out.
if you have any recommendations on flavor, let us know. Drop a line.
Already flavored.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Cherry bubblegum.
Cool. Well,
There,
we will
cherry
cherry
bubble
bubblegum.
gum.
What's that? Look at that. Now we know.
Now we know.
Also, love the store and staff, and recommend this to all you can. You are all amazing. Thank you, Chris, for the shout out. all store and staff. That's everybody.
I'm gonna jump towards James right now.
Yeah.
He actually gives us a big shout out. He says, when it comes to cannabis, you no doubt are one of the leaders here in Wisconsin. He talks about how to get into the industry in a little bit and a couple questions and how to support cannabis. Watch some of the political stuff and agendas that we do try and focus on, and we try and be very engaged in the community. But jumping into the cannabis space, it just coincides that this question with Tom talking about how to get into this industry or even to become a part of like the dispensary family. That's how you jump into it. It's really hard initially, and even myself a few years back, just jumping into the cannabis space, it was a big learning curve. And I learned best by submersion. And Nick, you'll laugh at me, but I had to shut my mouth for quite a while and learn a lot because I had to sit back. And everybody knows I don't like to shut my mouth. So Brandon's got something to say.
I would say.
But James gets into it. He says for about a year and a half after moving here, he struggled to find alternatives for his D9, which he was allowed to smoke in a different state. And, his struggle stopped when he found us, and he's in a much more calm state of mind. And he gives a big shout out into how we support not only the industry, but the efforts that we try and put forth towards the industry and our clients. So James, thank you very much for that question. Thanks for enjoying our products. And I'm really glad you found something that helps you on a day-to-day to calm that mind and body, because that's what we try and do. That's why we're here. We want to calm people's mind and body. So James, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, James. Trevor?
This one's not so much a question as it is a little shout out to the North region.
Oh, wow.
Wisconsin, from Christian. He just wanted to write in and let us know that he shopped at both the Green Bay locations, shopped at Appleton in the recent months, and has had great experiences with every customer they've interacted with, and the stores have been looking great. And appreciate the feedback. We like hearing that kind of stuff come back to us. And Christian, I'll make sure I pass this along to those stores.
To the north, Bobby Beans.
Yeah.
To the north. Trevor's from the south.
I'm a South region.
Yeah.
We'll show the love. We'll show the love.
Okay, there you go. Let's see here. Tiffany, please bring a business to Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin area. Don't get me wrong. I like coming to Wausau. It's a long drive.
Yeah.
It's a long
It's a
drive.
long drive.
But we would love to be in that region is what I'm being told. It'd be part of the growth plan, maybe. I don't want to give any promises, but
If
Tiffany,
you're a realtor and have any good locations in Wisconsin Rapids,
let
give
us
us a
know.
shout
Hit us
out.
up. Shout out.
Yeah,
That's what we're here for. We'd like to spread the industry anywhere we go. So give us a shout out. Anybody down there?
All right, so I like this one. We're going to go from the exact opposite of the north. We're going down to Danville, Virginia.
Ooh.
I love Danville.
Oh,
Big caca
oh
to my Danville crew. I love the Danville crew. They know that.
Inside joke. There
Yeah,
you go.
inside joke. Killing crew, but they caca.
There you go.
Anyways, big major shout out. This is from Sharita. She wants to give shout out to Danville. She said the two women were knowledgeable, friendly, and professional, answered all my questions with a smile, and they knew exactly what I wanted each time I enter and exit. I get a warming greeting. They're truly a pair of valuable employees. Keep up the excellent work. That is awesome feedback. Tom, HR guy, he's still sitting in the background here. But when we hear stuff like that, that's awesome feedback to hear. And Sharita, thank you very, very much for just giving us that shout out.
Will loves Danville.
I think
Danville's
we
good.
got to send her a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Sharita, email us. We want to send you a T-shirt.
Yeah, we should.
Email us.
I know, but
We'll get back to it.
we need to.
We'll
get
follow
back
up.
to
We'll
it.
follow up.
Damn it, caca!
I did.
I'm just gonna caca.
That's Danville. Ask the Danville crew.
If you go into Danville, caca,
Yeah.
and see if they give you an extra discount. Hustle them for a caca.
Good. Hustle. Trevor.
So then we have a last one from John. He was just asking to see if anybody can stop and shop at our store for cannabis. And honestly, we only have two real requirements. You got to have a valid ID and be 21 plus.
21 plus.
Otherwise, you got that stuff and you enter our store, we're going to greet you and then start trying to figure out how we can help you on the visit. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, a valid ID, 21 plus. That's all it is.
There it is. Next one here for me, Sherry. Got a Sherry. Do you have the tincture in any other flavor other than tropical or without flavor yet? Not yet, but potentially. I mean, I know people that just put them in drinks too.
Yep.
Maybe this time to switch it up. We can consider it.
Nano
we
Nanowave
have
is
the
good.
Nanowave.
Different alternative
Yep,
for you
those
guys.
self-stores.
No flavor. You can put it in stuff. But yeah, maybe something. Thanks for the feedback. We could look into it.
Yeah. Sherry? What flavor suggestion are you looking at?
Drop
Yeah, let us
a
know.
suggestion. We're always open to suggestions. Anybody out there, anywhere. We have many different platforms to drop a line, so just let us know, even in store. Let's see here. Are you able to ship orders to Minnesota?
Unfortunately, we cannot ship to
Negative.
Minnesota.
No
We
shipping.
choose not to for shipping because it goes back into almost that political question before political interference. We try and run a very clean and concise business when it comes down to verifying who our customers and our clients are. We physically have to see your ID. Doesn't matter if you look 17 or 70, we're still going to card you. It's important not only for your own safety to have a valid state ID while carrying THC products, legal THC products, just in case something does happen. There's proof to show who you are, where you got it from, and there's a good tracking system. And the other thing is we want to be socially responsible. If we ship something and it gets into the hands of a minor, we don't want to be responsible for that. And unfortunately, the mail, one day the kids go out to the mailbox and grab the mail and they think it's something that they can eat. We don't want to put kids into that position. We don't want to put families into that position. So being socially responsible is a huge part of this industry. And that's not a shot at the people who send out, but that is saying that you should be aware of the consequences or the actions that you're taking for the consequences of this industry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the answer is no, we don't ship.
Yeah.
Negative.
So you're
So moving on.
Yeah.
We've got James. James, this is actually a really, this one hits home with me as a veteran to veteran. After leaving the Army, fellow soldier, the VA loads a lot of us up on prescriptions, or they try to. And you put you put a comment in there that you're not a fan of taking meds for unlimited amount of time. I as well didn't enjoy eating painkillers and ibuprofen every day. Really, it's a downer for a lifestyle, and it's a downer for a lot of veterans. I don't think it's acceptable. I think the VA needs to be a lot more progressive. We as a company, Nikki and I, have tried putting efforts into working and contacting different veteran associations to try and push and get into that market to help more veterans out. We do think it's beneficial. It's really awesome here to see that you started out on broad spectrum CBD and then moved to the Delta 8 gummies, which help with mood management, sleep. And in here, James makes a comment. He hadn't slept through an entire night for 5 years. He had never smoked or partaken in traditional MJ. So, James, you're a lot like me. 40 years I went before I got into this and figured out that there are certain things that can help. But you're concerned with the rights as veterans partaking in recreational drugs. And it's not even necessarily the recreational as it is the transition into MJ. Is it a bad idea with public policy, anxiety, firearms, etc.? And where do you start to switch to MJ? To answer all those questions, I would say something that's very important about it is if you get a medical card in certain states, you're not allowed to carry a firearm. The products that we have do not require you to have a medical card, so therefore you could still have your concealed carry and utilize our products. Now, is that good? Is that bad? Is it a transition? You shouldn't feel bad about having to transition to something that's natural, much different than an opiate and or a prescription medication that turns you into a zombie. And it's unfortunate that there are many progressive ways in the medical field, but I feel like we're being held back by political agendas, finances, and people's personal opinions about certain types of products. I mean, people still think that we're selling the devil's lettuce. Some people think that we're selling the only thing that God would bless off on. We've got all these opinions that go around it, but I mean, should you feel bad about it, or do you think it's a bad idea? I don't. I think if you suffer and you haven't slept in 5 years through an entire night, and these gummies help you sleep, and you're still functioning great during the day, no, I think you're doing the right thing. This is a legal product. It's here. And I would say, and I can't recommend or how people handle their own firearms or the responsibility of firearms, but if you're consuming THC and or alcohol, either way, don't carry a firearm at that point in time. Any type of judgment or anything that could impair your judgment is imperative to make sure you as a responsible adult do the right things. And we're talking about not only constitutional rights to carry, we're talking about concealed carry in certain states, and we're talking about medical and recreational laws in these different states. You've got certain local, federal, and state laws that apply, and when you get into those, we've got people smiling in the background. I don't know. I think we're running out of time. But that said, no, I think it's important. You know, you have to put your decision into it, and you have to look at what the judgment calls across all boards are when you're talking such a heavy weighted question. But don't feel bad about it. And I'm really glad to hear that a fellow soldier's sleeping through the night. So thank you, James.
All right, Trevor.
That's actually all the questions I had.
Oh, that was it.
Yep.
You only had
Yep.
3. Okay. Well, my last one here. How about adding an online and pickup in-store option?
This is big.
This is huge.
Huge for me. Leafly. Shout out all stores. Check us out on Leafly. Great platform. Anything cannabis. Any information that you need. That's the place you should go. And all of our locations are now listed on there. So that's great. So we will go to the next section. Nice advertisement.
Add on your Leafly quick. Add on. So if you go to our website, you go to our products, you can click right on menu and poof, you can go in and click your products at your store. And then when you get into your store, your order should be ready for pickup.
Oh, yes. This is a
Brandon
fix-
worked on writing
this-
code. Leafly is huge. It's
Yep.
proud of him.
You can do
Brandon the
it.
brand.
Yeah, it's just a pickup option. So it's pretty easy. I don't know. Will did it in about 30 seconds. So it's a
To
pretty good thing.
chime in, you can also do it on the locations.
Yes.
You can go to any of the store locations and go directly to their specific page. So,
Locations page. Yeah,
Yeah.
right on our website. So easy to find. I think we got the hashtag at the bottom here. So find us at any of those pages as well. And again, we got another ad here by Courtney Paulson.
Yeah.
So let's see it.
Won't you stay with me? 'Cause you're all I need. Missing love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me. But darling, stay with me.
Hey guys, it's Ashton back in the dispensary again. We're just going to be here today actually showing you guys how to go about packing a bowl, kind of hitting it, actually proper technique with like passing a pipe in rotation and whatnot, proper etiquette, that sort of thing. So for this, it depends your preferred method. For me, it's always the water pipe, but some people prefer a little bit more convenient dry pipe. But today I'm going to show you how to do both, so I'm going to need both of those, and then we'll go with some of our top shelf flour. Today we got some of our apple fritter, and then I'll go ahead and get that ground up, and then we should be able to show you how to Okay, so I went and got my flour ground up here. You can kind of grind however much you really think you'll need. It depends if you have like a couple friends over or whatnot. We're really just kind of showing you how it's done. So I have just about a gram of our apple fritter ground up here. And one of the things that I should mention is that when you're grinding your flour up, depending on if you're breaking it apart with your hands versus if you're actually using a grinder, you might want to take it easy with the grinder just because it might grind it too fine, and then it might actually like fall through the holes in the bowl when you're smoking it. And you wanna smoke your flour. You don't want to be eating it or tasting it. So just be careful how much you grind it up. And then I have about a gram ground up here, but when I cut the pile, I'm gonna do quite a bit more to the side with the pipe, just because when you're smoking out of a water pipe, your goal is generally to load only as much as you can inhale in one hit, and then from there you'll get a much more enjoyable experience. It'll be a lot smoother. So with that, you'll kind of basically just drop it in there, but being sure that you're not packing it too tight in the bottom there, just because if it's too tight, it won't pull air through, but if it's too loose, you'll pull your flour through. So you want to work on getting a nice little base down there, and then you can kind of just layer your flour on top of there. So something like that is probably perfect, just because you're actually able to light all of that and smoke it all in one. Some of the less experienced people might need to load a little bit less, just because you wanna try and smoke all of that in one. So that should be our water pipe bowl loaded, and then I can set that aside and then go to our actual hand pipe. And this one's pretty much this exact same concept. With this one, it's less crucial about actually smoking all of it in the one hit. You're obviously gonna hit a little bit of it and then pass it to your friend, or maybe take a little bit of a break and then come back to it. But same concept as far as loading it. You wanna you want to get a nice base. So you'll kind of put some flour in there and then maybe push that down just a little bit so you have a nice pillow for the rest of the flour to lay on. And then I can kind of actually just go a little bit overboard with the rest of the flour, and then we'll be able to clean it up later. So you don't want to push it too tight down there just because you want proper airflow. So this extra here, I'll just be able to smoke another one with. So now that we got both of our bowls loaded up, we'll be able to head over to Sammy showing you how to actually execute the smoking process. Alrighty, so now we're gonna have Sammy go ahead and show us how to execute the smoking technique, kind of have proper etiquette and how to smoke up with your friends and not get shamed for the ways that you do things. So right off the bat, we'll go ahead and use the hand pipe, and then the main thing with that is what you want to avoid. Generally, when you're passing a pipe around in a circle, you want to corner the bowl just because you want your friends to have a greens hit. Just because then it's just proper etiquette. That way you can go ahead and corner your bowl, and then that way when you pass it to your friend, they'll actually get a fresh hit. So you can clearly see that only part of the bowl was smoked, just because then like that's proper etiquette. Otherwise you would want to finish the bowl and then like pack your friend a fresh one, just because that way like you're not going to be rude to anyone. And then with the next thing, with the water pipe, as I had said, your main goal is going to be to actually finish the entire bowl in one rip, so you can actually load a lesser amount if you don't have the lung power or whatnot. And then with that, you just kind of want to roast it. You don't want to torch the bowl. Once you see that it's milking up, you can kind of just push it around with your finger if you need to, and then you can actually go ahead and just clear all of that in one hit, just like that, and that would be perfect. Just because then you're going to smoke all of it in one hit. It's kind of the same concept as the cornering the bowl. With this, you're going to load all of the amount to smoke in one hit, so you get a green hit, and then when it's your friend's turn next, or your next rip, you'll load a whole fresh bowl, and that'll be perfect.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
That was amazing. Sammy,
Video.
shout out to Sammy Miller.
Yeah,
That
Sammy.
was awesome.
Nice job, Sammy. And
I
Ashton.
did.
Good
Ashton
job.
just broke that down nice.
Yeah. That
Both
was-
killing it.
I like that education part. That's always great.
I should probably watch it and learn.
Right?
Very
We would both
informational
die.
there.
We would both die. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us tonight. I want to start out with a little. What was your highlight tonight?
For me, it was HR, of course.
Okay.
Always.
Trev?
I like the unicorn. Bringing the unicorn out.
With
is-
a unicorn.
He
On
total
point.
curveball.
On
He
point.
Will still has, and I had to talk him off of this.
He did have to talk me out.
He
of
was
this
going to keep it
unicorn.
up here the whole time.
I was going to keep it up here the whole time.
It's
My
this
wonder why
emotional
that's it.
support
It is. He was
unicorn.
feeling some sort
This
of.
is my emotional support unicorn.
Oh, yeah.
Does its job.
It does. It's a good unicorn.
You're
Brandon?
serious.
Yeah.
That's his favorite. Yeah.
Good unicorn.
Also
Come on.
enjoyed this. Terpenes were cool. Learned a little bit about that stuff, but
It's good to hear from our customers as well.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to go.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
like the customer
It
feedback.
was.
I think that customer engagement, those emails, I think that's great because that keeps us as an industry and as a company and our dispensary family, it keeps us on our toes, keeps us what we should be looking for, and it helps motivate the purpose behind us. I think it's great. Just there's nothing greater to say is
Perfect.
when we know that we're helping customers on a day-to-day basis, it makes this worth it.
Yep. I
And
sent that email out and got responses. Any responses are always great. Got like 50 or however many we just went through here. So that's-
Appreciate everyone
T-shirts.
that
The
did.
unicorn wants
Yeah.
to know: are people getting T-shirts
They-
today?
if somebody commented on this thing, we will get T-shirts. We can get these responses T-shirts. Maybe we'll follow up on that. So
All right.
yes, T-shirts.
Where
We
should,
want to get
where
rid of
should they
T-shirts.
like, follow, or subscribe? What's
We got
going to happen?
Instagram, Facebook,
Facebook.
YouTube.
I
Where-
even start-
go
I
leave us
even
a
started.
leaflet.
Where's our
review.
TikTok at,
I
Brandon?
started it.
I know.
Ashton
Leafly
went viral
review.
for a
Yeah,
second.
weekly review.
Leafly-
Leafly
oh,
reviews.
Google reviews.
that's-
Leafly reviews.
Honestly, though,
Bring
that
it
was,
back.
that was the second biggest thing, like that Leafly thing. Even Tom said they were like, we downplayed Leafly a little
Okay.
bit. Like we did.
can bring it back.
Leafly's
We
huge.
can bring
We
it
can
back.
make a whole episode out of Leafly though, and they
We
need to
could.
sponsor it.
But we could
Ooh.
bring it back and just say that it is super important, educational. If anybody's looking to get into cannabis, any
it out.
information, they got like news, entertainment. It's more than just like a place to order some products. So check it out.
And the other big highlight, we've got Dwayne here who handles all of our trimming, and he does it in hot,
I know.
cold, rain,
I didn't
crappy
think-
conditions. And Dwayne is the man that gets this flower trimmed up, and that looks fire. That is
Yeah.
Pink
This is the
Panther.
Pink Panther.
It is
It'll
the
be
Pink
coming out
Panther.
soon. Yeah.
And Dwayne, big shout out to you, the greenhouse guys, and all the trimming work and that he does out there, the production team, because that is it. It's smelling this whole
I'm gonna
place up.
start sneezing now.
Yeah,
Brandon,
If we rub it on Brandon, he breaks out in hives. It's a
Yes.
fun game.
totally, it's weird. He loves it, but
It's weird.
it hates him. He's allergic
It
to it.
hates me. I love it.
All right, so follow again.
Yes.
Do some shares, get some free merch, get some big discounts by doing it.
Please,
Come
I
in
wanna-
and see us.
I
Yeah,
want
come
to
in
do
and
it.
talk. Come say hi.
This is Green Bay West HQ.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Trevor has the South region of Wisconsin.
Come check us out.
Thank
Buy
you,
some
Trevor.
nano
Thank
waves,
you,
some peanut butter
Tom.
cups.
And the one store.
Courtney
in-
Paulson, thank you.
Yeah, Courtney Paulson.
There you go.
And the shout out to the Danville crew. Caw
Yeah.
one more
Yeah.
time.
That's that.
All right. Thank you for joining us,
Appreciate
and look
y'all.
forward to seeing you all in about 3.5 weeks.
Yep.
Thank you.
Out of practice.